Dr. Maya Patel stared at the holographic display floating above her desk, her dark eyes narrowing as she read the unusual request for the third time. In her 15 years as head of xenobiology at the International Space Research Institute, she had never received anything quite like this. The application came from a being called Cthyra, a representative of the newly discovered Lacerian species from the Andromeda Galaxy. The request was simple on the surface, a complete biological examination, but the specifics were peculiar. Cthyra had specifically requested Dr. Patel to perform the examination personally, refusing the standard automated scanning protocols that were typical for first contact scenarios. Maya ran her fingers through her curly black hair, a habit she developed during long hours of research. The space station's artificial gravity felt heavier than usual as she considered the implications. The Lacerians were an advanced civilization, their recent arrival through the newly established quantum bridge between galaxies marking a historic moment in human history. Yet, this request seemed oddly intimate. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Dr. Patel, the AI assistant's voice was smooth and professional, your 3 o'clock appointment has arrived. Maya straightened her lab coat and took a deep breath. Send her in, Arya. The laboratory doors slid open with a whisper, and Maya felt her breath catch. Cthyra moved with an otherworldly grace, her crystalline skin refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, her form humanoid but clearly alien, with iridescent scales covering her body and eyes that seemed to shift color like opals. Dr. Patel, Cthyra's voice was melodic, with an undertone that made the air vibrate slightly. I appreciate you accepting my request. Maya maintained her professional composure, though she couldn't deny the flutter of excitement in her chest. This was why she had become a xenobiologist, the thrill of discovering new life forms, understanding different biologies, pushing the boundaries of science. Your request is unusual, Maya began, gesturing to a specially designed examination chair. We typically begin with non-invasive scans. Cthyra's lips curved into what might have been a smile. My biology requires a more personal approach. Our species communicates through bioelectric fields. Machines cannot properly interpret our biological signatures. Maya activated her holographic notepad, trying to focus on the scientific implications rather than the way Cthyra's scales shimmered with each movement. Fascinating. That would explain the unusual energy readings we detected when your ship first arrived. Indeed. Cthyra moved closer, and Maya felt a subtle tingling along her skin. But I'm more interested in your readings, Dr. Patel. Your research on cross-species genetic compatibility is intriguing. Maya's scientific curiosity sparked. You've studied my work extensively. Cthyra reached out, her crystalline fingers hovering near Maya's arm. May I demonstrate something? Maya nodded, her heart rate increasing slightly. Cthyra's fingers made contact with her skin, and immediately, Maya felt a gentle surge of energy course through her body. It wasn't unpleasant, rather like the static charge before a storm. Remarkable, Maya whispered, watching as her skin seemed to glow faintly where Cthyra touched her. Your bioelectric field is interfacing with my nervous system. Yes, Cthyra confirmed, her opal eyes swirling with colors. This is how we begin to understand each other. Your biology is responsive. Not all species can withstand our energy signature. Maya quickly documented the reaction on her holographic pad, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. This could revolutionize our understanding of interspecies communication. The implications for medicine alone. That's precisely why I chose you, Dr. Patel. Cthyra withdrew her hand, leaving Maya's skin tingling. You see the potential beyond the surface. But there's more to discover if you're willing to look deeper. Maya met Cthyra's swirling gaze, recognizing the subtle challenge in her words. This was more than a simple examination request, it was an invitation to break new ground in xenobiology. And possibly, something more. Well then, Maya said, activating her advanced scanning equipment. Let's begin our research properly. Though I suspect we're both aware this is just the beginning of a much longer study. Thyra's scales rippled with what appeared to be pleasure. I look forward to our collaboration, Dr. Patel. I believe we have much to learn from each other. As Maya began her initial scans, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the brink of something extraordinary, something that would challenge not just her scientific understanding, but perhaps her entire worldview. The question was, how far was she willing to go in pursuit of knowledge? 3 days into her examination of Thyra, Maya knew something wasn't adding up. The data from their sessions revealed patterns that defied conventional xenobiological understanding. She sat in her private lab during the station's night cycle, holographic displays surrounding her with cascading streams of information. Arya, run another analysis on the bioelectric frequency patterns from yesterday's session, Maya commanded, rubbing her tired eyes. The space station's lights had automatically dimmed to simulate evening, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something crucial. Analysis complete, Arya responded. Anomaly detected in sequence Beta 7. The subject's bioelectric field shows signs of intentional modulation. Maya leaned forward, her attention sharpening. Intentional? Show me the comparison graphs. The holographic display shifted, revealing 2 overlapping wave patterns. The first showed Thyra's baseline readings from their initial meeting. The second displayed yesterday's data, similar at first glance, but with subtle, rhythmic variations that couldn't be natural. A soft knock at her lab door startled her. Thyra stood in the doorway, her crystalline form catching the dim light. Working late, Dr. Patel. Maya quickly switched off the comparison displays. Just reviewing some data. I wasn't expecting you until tomorrow. I find your Earth concept of night fascinating, Thyra said, moving into the lab with that ethereal grace that still captivated Maya. My species doesn't require traditional sleep cycles. We enter brief periods of energy synchronization instead. As Thyra approached, Maya felt the now familiar tingle of her bioelectric field. But this time, she paid closer attention to the sensation. Was there a pattern to it? A message hidden in the electromagnetic pulses? Thyra, Maya began carefully, I've noticed something interesting in your bioelectric signatures. They show signs of deliberate manipulation. The alien's opal eyes swirled with deeper colors, but her expression remained unreadable. Very observant, Dr. Patel. Most researchers would have missed that detail. Why are you really here? Maya asked directly. This isn't just about biological documentation, is it? Thyra was silent for a moment, her scales shifting through various patterns. No, she finally admitted. I came to you because your research suggests you might understand what I'm about to show you. She extended her crystalline hand, palm up. In the center, a small sphere of pure energy materialized, casting a soft blue glow across the lab. This is a concentrated form of our bioelectric field. We use it for more than just communication. Maya watched, fascinated, as the sphere pulsed with complex patterns. Her scientific instruments began registering unprecedented energy readings. It's beautiful, but I don't understand. Watch closely, Thyra instructed. The sphere expanded slightly, and within it, Maya could see what looked like strands of DNA, but unlike any she'd ever encountered. They twisted and morphed, showing signs of degradation and repair in real time. Is that your genetic code? Maya asked, her heart racing with the implications. Yes, Thyra confirmed. My species is facing a crisis. Our genetic structure is becoming unstable. Each generation, the degradation accelerates. We've searched countless galaxies for a solution. Maya's mind was already racing with possibilities. And something in my research suggested a potential answer. Your work on cross-species genetic stability is groundbreaking, Thyra said, letting the sphere dissipate. But more than that, your understanding of bioelectric fields as a means of genetic manipulation. My published research barely touches on that, Maya interrupted, realization dawning. Those were just theoretical models in my private notes. How did you? We have our ways of gathering information, Thyra admitted. I apologize for the deception, but we're desperate. Our children are being born with increasingly severe mutations. Within 3 generations, my species could face extinction. Maya stood up, pacing the lab as she processed this revelation. So the examination request, the personal attention, was partly to assess your potential as a research partner, Thyra finished. But also because there's something unique about your own genetic structure. Something that could be key to our survival. Before Maya could respond, the lab's emergency lights flashed red. Arya's voice filled the room, warning. Unauthorized energy signature detected. Security protocols engaging. Thyra's scales flickered with anxiety. They've found me. I wasn't supposed to reveal this much, not yet. Who's found you? Maya demanded, but she was already moving to her console, attempting to override the security protocols. Thyra, what aren't you telling me? The alien's form seemed to pulse with increasing energy. Dr. Patel. Maya. I have to show you something else. Something that will change everything you think you know about both our species. But first, you have to decide, will you help me, even if it means going against your own protocols? Through the lab's windows, Maya could see security drones approaching. Time was running out. She looked at Thyra, then at her research displays, knowing her next decision could alter the course of not just her career, but potentially the future of 2 species. The security system counted down to containment measures. She had seconds to choose. Maya's fingers flew across the holographic interface as alarms blared throughout the lab. Arya, Security Override Protocol Patel Alpha 9. Authorization Code 47X2B. Override accepted, Arya responded. Security drone standing down. Be advised, Station Command has been notified. Thyra's crystalline form pulsed with visible relief, but her opal eyes remained intense. We don't have much time. What I'm about to show you, it will challenge everything you believe about human evolution. She raised both hands, and the air between them shimmered with bioelectric energy. In the resulting holographic display, Maya saw what appeared to be a DNA sequence, but not like any she'd studied before. It contained structures she'd never seen, patterns that shouldn't be possible. This is a genetic map from our ancient archives, Thyra explained. From before our species began to degrade. And this. She gestured, and another sequence appeared alongside the first. This is human DNA. Your DNA, specifically. Maya stepped closer, her scientific mind racing as she analyzed the patterns. Then she saw it, similarities in places there shouldn't be any. Impossible correlations. That can't be possible. But it is, Thyra insisted. Our species share a common ancestor, Maya. One that existed long before your planet's recorded history. Before Earth was even habitable by current standards. The lab door slid open, and Director James Chen strode in, flanked by 2 security officers. He stopped short at the sight of the holographic display. Dr. Patel, what is the meaning of this? Maya straightened, placing herself between Thyra and the newcomers. Director, I can explain. We're on the verge of something unprecedented. What you're on the verge of is a serious breach of protocol, Chen said sternly. Then his eyes fixed on the genetic displays, and something in his expression shifted. Wait, is that what I think it is? Thyra stepped forward, her scales rippling with determination. Director Chen, I believe you already know what this means. Your organization has suspected it for some time, hasn't it? Chen's face tightened. Those files are classified at the highest level. How did you dash Because we've been watching, Thyra interrupted. Just as your people have been watching us. The quantum bridge between our galaxies wasn't an accident, was it? Maya looked between them, realization dawning. You knew about the genetic connection? Chen sighed heavily. We had theories. Fragments of evidence found in ancient sites across Earth. But nothing concrete until the Lysarians made contact. Then you understand why I chose Dr. Patel, Thyra said. Her research, her unique genetic markers, she may be the key to saving both our species. Both? Maya asked sharply. What do you mean both? Thyra's form dimmed slightly, a sign Maya had learned indicated distress. The genetic degradation affecting my people, we've detected early signs of it in human DNA. It's subtle, generations away from being noticeable, but it's there. Show me, Maya demanded, professional detachment warring with personal shock. Thyra complied, bringing up new genetic models. Maya watched in growing concern as the projections played out, showing a future where human DNA began to unravel in the same pattern currently affecting the Lysarians. This is why we came, Thyra explained softly. Not just to save ourselves, but to prevent humanity from facing the same fate. Your research on bioelectric field manipulation of genetic structures, it's the closest anyone has come to solving this puzzle. Director Chen dismissed the security officers with a gesture. Dar. Patel, this just became a priority 1 research initiative. Whatever you need, resources, personnel, clearance, you'll have it. Maya barely heard him. She was already moving to her research station, pulling up files, making connections she'd never seen before. Thyra, if we combine your bioelectric manipulation abilities with my theories on genetic stabilization. Yes, Thyra moved to join her, their bioelectric fields harmonizing automatically. Together, we might find a solution that eluded both our species separately. Maya felt Thyra's energy field intertwine with her own, creating patterns of thought and understanding that transcended normal communication. In that moment of connection, she understood why Thyra had chosen her specifically. Their resonance was more than scientific. It was evolutionary, a bridge between past and future. Director, Maya said, not taking her eyes off the displays, I suggest you prepare for an extended research session. Thyra and I have work to do. As Chen left to make arrangements, Maya turned to Thyra. You could have told me all this from the beginning. Would you have believed me? Thyra asked, her scales shimmering with what Maya now recognized as affection. Sometimes truth must be discovered to be accepted. Maya smiled, feeling the weight of history and future possibility in equal measure. Well then, let's discover some more truth. Together. 2 weeks of intense research had transformed Maya's lab into a nexus of cutting-edge xenobiology. Holographic displays filled the air with swirling genetic models, while specialized equipment hummed with constant analysis. But something was wrong. Thyra, your bioelectric field is destabilizing, Maya said, watching the readings with growing concern. The Lysarian's crystalline skin had lost its luster, and the usual shimmer of her scales had become erratic. A side effect of being away from our collective energy matrix for too long, Thyra admitted, her voice carrying an unusual strain. I anticipated this might happen. Maya's instruments began registering alarming fluctuations. Why didn't you tell me? Your cellular structure is showing signs of accelerated degradation. Because I knew you would try to stop our work, Thyra said, steadying herself against a console. The data we're gathering is too important. The potential solution won't matter if you don't survive to implement it, Maya interrupted, already moving to adjust the lab's electromagnetic field generators. Arya, begin emergency stabilization protocol. Unable to comply, Arya responded. Unknown variables in subject's bioelectric pattern. Standard protocols may cause further destabilization. Director Chen's voice came through the lab's communication system. Dar. Patel, our sensors are detecting dangerous energy fluctuations from your lab. What's your status? Maya ignored him, focusing on Kthira's deteriorating condition. Their weeks of research had shown that the genetic degradation in Lysarians was tied to their complex bioelectric field, the same field that made them unique and allowed their advanced abilities. Now that very essence was unraveling before her eyes. There might be a way, Maya said, pulling up their recent research data. We've mapped the correlation between human and Lysarian DNA. If I can use my own bioelectric field as a template. Too dangerous, Kthira protested weakly. The energy transfer could damage your genetic structure. Everything we've worked for would be lost. Dr. Patel, Chen's voice was more urgent now. Station sensors indicate critical instability. We need to initiate containment procedures. Maya's mind raced through possibilities, years of research crystallizing into a moment of clarity. Their work had shown that human DNA contained dormant sequences that matched Lysarian patterns, remnants of their shared ancestry. In theory, she could use her own genetic structure to stabilize Kthira's degrading pattern. But the risk was enormous. A miscalculation could corrupt her own genetic code, potentially triggering the same degradation that plagued the Lysarians. Worse, it could accelerate Kthira's condition, causing a catastrophic breakdown that would threaten the entire station. Maya, Kthira's voice was barely a whisper now, her form flickering like a faulty hologram. The research data, it's enough. My people can continue. No, Maya said firmly, her decision made. She began rapidly reconfiguring the lab's equipment. Arya, redirect all power to the main bioelectric field generator. Authorization Patel Omega-1. Dr. Patel, this is a direct order, Chen's voice held a note of panic. Shut down your lab immediately. Maya activated the emergency lab seals. I'm sorry, Director, but we're about to make history. Arya, begin recording all data streams. Initiate full spectrum analysis. She stepped onto the research platform beside Kthira, taking the alien's crystalline hand in her own. Immediately, she felt the chaotic surge of Kthira's destabilizing energy field. Maya, please, Kthira's opal eyes swirled with concern. The risk is worth taking, Maya finished. She activated the final sequence, and the lab's generators hummed to life. You chose me for a reason, Kthira. Now we'll find out if you were right. Energy began to flow between them, Maya's stable bioelectric field intertwining with Kthira's failing one. The sensation was like nothing Maya had ever experienced, as if every cell in her body was singing in harmony with an alien symphony. Through the haze of energy transfer, Maya watched their combined genetic sequences displayed in the holographic field. Human and Lysarian DNA began to resonate, ancient patterns awakening, new configurations forming. Either they were about to achieve the impossible, or they were both about to learn the true cost of pushing the boundaries of science too far. The lab filled with blinding light as two species worth of genetic destiny hung in the balance. The first thing Maya noticed when she regained consciousness was the subtle hum of energy coursing through her body, different from anything she'd felt before, yet somehow familiar. The second thing she noticed was Kthira's face hovering above her, opal eyes swirling with relief. Welcome back, Kthira said softly. Her crystalline form had regained its luster, scales shimmering with renewed vitality. You've been unconscious for 3 days. Maya sat up slowly, aware of profound changes in her own body. She could feel the station's electromagnetic fields, sense the pulse of power running through its systems. More incredibly, she could perceive Kthira's bioelectric field with perfect clarity, no instruments needed. The procedure, Maya began, her scientific mind already racing to analyze the data. Did we see for yourself? Kthira gestured to the holographic displays surrounding them. Maya's lab had been transformed into a high-security medical bay, with Director Chen and a team of specialists monitoring their recovery from behind energy shields. The genetic scans told an extraordinary story. Maya's DNA now showed active sequences that had previously been dormant, ancient patterns awakened by the energy transfer. Thyra's genetic structure had stabilized, the degradation not just halted but reversed. This is unprecedented, Chen's voice came through the communication system. Dr. Patel, your genetic structure has partially adapted to incorporate Lacerian characteristics while remaining fundamentally human. The implications are staggering. Maya stood carefully, testing her new awareness. More than that, Director. We've proven the evolutionary link between our species. This isn't just about saving the Lacerians, it's about reclaiming a lost connection between our peoples. Thyra moved closer, their bioelectric fields harmonizing automatically. The process can be refined, made safer. My people's scientists are already analyzing the data. We believe we can develop a treatment that will prevent genetic degradation in both species without requiring such a dramatic transformation. Though some of us might consider the transformation a bonus, Maya said with a smile, extending her hand and watching energy dance between her fingers. The research possibilities alone are enormous, Chen finished. And potentially dangerous. The committee is already demanding oversight, concerned about the military applications. Then we'll have to make sure the knowledge is used properly, Maya said firmly. Thyra's people have managed their abilities responsibly for millennia. We can learn from them, not just about genetics, but about the responsibility that comes with evolution. Our peoples were meant to find each other again, Thyra said, her scales rippling with emotion. Perhaps our ancestors knew that someday we would need each other to survive. Maya turned to face the observation window where Chen and his team watched. Director, I want to propose a new research initiative. A joint program between humans and Lacerians, focused on collaborative evolution. We've only scratched the surface of what our species can achieve together. Chen was quiet for a moment, then nodded. I'll take it to the committee. Given the results we're seeing, I doubt they'll refuse. They won't, Thyra said confidently. Especially once they understand what else we discovered during the transfer. Maya looked at her curiously. What do you mean? Thyra's eyes swirled with excitement. When our bioelectric fields merged, I saw something in our combined genetic memory. Fragments of our shared history, encoded in dormant DNA sequences. There are more of us out there, Maya. Other offshoots of our ancient ancestors, scattered across different galaxies. A genetic diaspora, Maya breathed, mind racing with possibilities. We could find them, help them before the degradation begins. Together, Thyra agreed, reaching for Maya's hand. Where their fingers touched, energy sparkled in complex patterns, a visible symbol of their species' renewed connection. Maya squeezed Thyra's hand, feeling the pulse of shared purpose between them. What had begun as a simple examination request had evolved into something far greater, a reunion of long-lost genetic cousins, a cure for both their species, and a promise of discoveries yet to come. Well then, Maya said, turning to face the array of research equipment in her lab, shall we begin the next phase of our evolution? Thyra's answering smile was radiant. I thought you'd never ask. As they bent over the research console together, their combined bioelectric fields illuminating the lab in patterns of impossible beauty, Maya knew they had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. But looking at the future unfolding before them, a future of shared discovery, understanding, and growth, she couldn't imagine wanting to go back. The xenobiologist's enigma had been solved, but the real adventure was just beginning.